So I thought one of the real interesting things, and this has been pretty well chronicled, that the best players in the NBA are now international. And international players, though gracious and gifted, more skilled than any we've ever had, often don't move the needle. That a Jokic or a Wemby or an SGA, maybe remarkable players, but I don't know. We like our domestic guys. We like our MJs and our Kobes and our LeBrons. We like personalities. Magic always smiled. Kareem didn't. Kareem was stoic. People didn't really like him. Magic was all smiles. People loved him. Bird was feisty and blue collar. Resonated. Dr. J was cool. Resonated. International guys don't. Yet in baseball, a World Series got 27 million viewers in the United States with one city.
Yeah.
Toronto's ratings don't count, and the two best players were Japanese. And I thought about this. How do you reconcile that? So international players, I thought they didn't really move the needle. One American team was not, one city only was involved in the ratings. NBA had two, and baseball virtually doubled it or got a significantly higher number. Now, some would argue that Manfred speeding up the game has helped the sport. Clearly, I think on the margins, 8 to 10%, not 40 to 50%, but it's made it much more consumable. You could argue the Dodgers are just the most interesting team since the Yankees with Jeter. I noticed that 2 years ago when the Dodgers went to Yankee Stadium for a series, the one Teoscar Hernandez crushed, there were Dodger hats everywhere. It was unbelievable. How do you explain two best players are international, doesn't work in the NBA, works in baseball, or are we looking at a Warriors-like dynasty that is just fascinating to everybody in the country?
Yeah, I think there's a few things. Dodgers are a huge brand. Like, it doesn't surprise me that Dodgers hats in New York, like they used to be here. So I mean, seriously, like it's an old man's game, and the Brooklyn Dodgers, like that's a thing that's passed down. So I think that the Dodgers, Yankees, Dodgers, Cubs, Red Sox, those are like the brands that seemingly everybody cares about that kind of transcend the sport. Then you add in Ohtani and this Babe Ruth thing. You add in that live sports are crushing, right? Everything else is struggling.
Everything.
Yeah. Like everything is struggling. Live sports are crushing. And it was, I do think there is something too. That was just awesome sports.
Yeah.
Like that series was great. Like the 18 inning game crossed over. Like that. I think that really helped the series. It was like, wait, what happened? There was a game that went 18 innings and all of the highlights, and like that felt like a football level event, like a water cooler event that I don't know if people have water coolers at their place of business anymore, but like, you know what I mean? Like it was, it was the type of thing that my wife could not care less about baseball. She the next day was like, what time did you come to bed? Like it's like it came into her orbit, you know what I mean? And so I think that game early in the series all of a sudden made people feel like I can't miss anything else in this series because I missed that all-time thing. And then game 6 was awesome. And so it set up for game 7 to be this like much must-watch thing. So I think it was a perfect storm of events. And I mean, listen, last year was Yankees Dodgers, and this one beat it.
Yes.
That's a great story for baseball to be able to.
No New York market, no other domestic market. I also think game 6 and 7 were late inning fantastic.
Correct.
They were just, I mean, I loved the fact that Dave Roberts pulled every weird lever and they all worked.
Yeah.
All of them.
It was, man, baseball, the tension of baseball is so, listen, playoff hockey, the tension rises, game 7 in any sport, NCAA tournament, single elimination, right? And when elimination's on the line, the tension is high. I used to say, like, I love sports so much that, like, I'll watch anything if it's the highest stakes. World Series of Darts, bowling, right? Like, if it's the highest stakes and the best of the best. But it's baseball. It's America's pastime. And you're like, you're going to give me great baseball in a game 6 and a game 7 with a little David and Goliath feel. Not that the Blue Jays like looked like underdogs in the series. They arguably outplayed the Dodgers, but just it was like the big bad Dodgers, the dynasty, and then this team that was just mashing. It was, I couldn't look away. It was compelling sports theater. Like I know they would never have it go up against the NFL, but like I would have chosen game 7 of that World Series over an NFL game if confronted with the choice. And I'm a 10 times bigger NFL fan than I am baseball fan.
Football season's here, and if you want to go to an NFL or college football game, Game Time is the place for you. The Game Time app just gives you the advantage back to you, the fans. It's a hack for unlocking amazing tickets and experiences in a few taps. I love it. Easy to use. The Game Time guarantee means you can trust you'll get 100% authentic tickets on time and at the best price, 100%. So they even let you preview your seat on the app. That's special. Plus fees are always included. So what you see is what you pay every time. Take the guesswork out of buying professional football tickets with Game Time. Just download the Game Time app, create an account. If you use the code Colin, COLIN, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply again. Create an account, redeem code COLIN, $20 off, swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today. Oh, no, I watched multiple playoff games in October over football games, and I'm a football guy. Yeah. There's no question. And I've said this before, is there are just certain things that are like, and college basketball, that opening weekend is magical. But it's really hard to get me in November, the Maui Invitational isn't moving me to a TV set. It's the same in baseball. Regular season, it's a bit tedious. But baseball is one of those things for about 6 weeks. It's fascinating. And I do think there's a chess component. I like architecture. You're very good with math and betting. There's like an architecture and the build of the drama. It's almost like the 2-minute drill in football happens in baseball for 9 innings. You're getting these constant stakes on every batter.
Yeah, I think my thing with baseball, Boog Shambi, great play-by-play guy, buddy of mine, does because the World Series for ESPN Radio, but is now locally for the Cubs. So I gotten to know him over the past few years. He said this thing, and he likes to think about the game and rules and tinker with it. He's just a smart guy, thoughtful guy. He said, if we created baseball tomorrow, we wouldn't make it 162 games. Like it's an outdated thing.
That's right.
And so what's the math of it is that 1 of 162 is statistically meaningless.
Right.
But then when you take that sport and then you inject it into like game 7 or best of 5, and it's like, oh my God.
Now it's fascinating.
Now a baseball game feels like the NFC, like a divisional round game feels like the NFC Championship game, And so I think that juxtaposition of it goes from like meaningless to the most meaningful is why it's great. I want to ask you though about what you said about the international guys in the NBA. What do you think will happen? Like, say LeBron retires at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And then you have Luka on the Lakers.
Yeah.
Because you had SGA, Oklahoma City, Giannis, Milwaukee, Jokic, Denver. If you take international superstar with global brand,
right?
Do you think he will be less impactful than an American star on the Lakers, or will the Lakers brand plus his brilliance kind of be an exception to your international question?
It's a good question. I think the Lakers brand with Luka will be fascinating. I think NBA may become a little bit more regional and local, and that was baseball's problem until the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Cubs. The Cubs, a national team, kind of brought everybody back into the tent, and then Rob Manfred making rule changes to speed the game up, more base runners, defensive shift out. That brought more people back into the game. It's gone in stages, right? This dynasty just started 2 years ago. The rule changes, a lot of them started 3 and 4 years ago. So everything was percolating. Here come the Dodgers to dominate. Bang, the numbers gigantic. So the baseball right now today, Danny, feels more national than it has in forever.
Yeah.
The NBA has gone the other way. Without the dynasties, it's gone baseball's direction, where it feels a little bit more local. Luka and the Lakers could make that feel more national, or a Knicks championship. But it's interesting, Boston, and this is why I say that. This is not a criticism of the NBA. It's gotten very local. And the example I would give is the Celtics championship. That's the second biggest brand. It got a terrible number. The Celtics did with MVP level Jason Tatum from Duke. So the biggest college brand, the second biggest NBA brand, got a crap number. So what's happened to me is NBA's gotten more local and regional with the dismantling of the dynasties. Baseball in 3 or 4 years has gotten more national. They've switched spots. And the ultimate payout for that is in the championship, where the NBA numbers dip and the baseball numbers surge. Does that make sense?
I think it's a totally reasonable theory. I think that because you're judging it based on like NBA Finals ratings and World Series ratings.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and listen, that the math right now on that is undeniable. I also think that like any sport that plays that many games, it's in the build up to it is going to be more local and regional because, again, I'll just use like my team as the example. Like if I'm a diehard Cubs fan and the game now is, 2 hours and 40 minutes, used to be 3 hours and 15 minutes, whatever. It's a large chunk of time. When I'm done watching the Cubs game, I'm not going to turn on Diamondbacks Mariners.
Right.
It's because one of 162 of that, I can't. Whereas football, because every game means so much, and gambling and fantasy, and it's like one day a week and all that. Like I can feel like I watch the whole league. You can't do that in basketball. The games are all on, but it's impossible. Like if I want to be a Bulls fan and be a diehard NBA fan, you don't have enough hours in the day to consume all of it unless you're like a single guy and you're 25 years old and you don't, you know what I mean? Like it's just there's too much inventory to be a fan of everything all of the time. And so I feel like a lot of us like play catch up when the playoffs come around because the games are bigger, they matter more, and that's when it is. Like, Wemby Luka last night I paid attention to. Obviously, we talk about it on the show today. But a random regular NBA game in football season, like I'll talk to you in February.